Hello, this is Cuckoo. I'm right here at the Namm show and in Teenage Engineering's booth, and they're introducing a lot of new things this year. Amongst others, I'm going to try and get a sneak peek of the new OP-Z. They're not launching, but they're letting us see it for the first time and hear it. It's a visual and sound synthesizer. So let's see if I get a little demo from it. Okay, so I managed to get a little talk with Jonas Åberg, who is the lead programmer of the brand new OP-Z. And I'm thinking about the Z, is Z for zero?
That's funny you should say that. We used to have that as kind of a product name early on, OP0, because we don't want it to be a sequel to the OP1. That's important to know that we find the OP1 to be perfect in its own, so we want to do new stuff. We want to do different stuff, right? So then it turned into OP-Z because it's kind of diffuse and funny. I don't know. That's where we landed.
I think that's a nice name. I mean, OP1 has been so well received by the whole world, I guess, and everyone is kind of waiting for an OP2, but I think you avoid any kind of expectation by giving it a name that is different itself, like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that we're not going to do an OP2, but we love the OP1 so much that we don't want to mess with it. Right now, basically the OP-C is our focus. We're going to continue doing upgrades for the OP1, and stay tuned for that. You can sign up for our newsletter and know more about that in the near future.
Right now, as you might have noticed, we're standing right next to a huge television screen, and so the OP-Z does not only sound but also visuals, right?
Correct. As you can see on this one, it doesn't have a display, so that's something that we decided we want to try out early, to not use the display and to display everything just with the LEDs of the keys. But then we got the idea that it would be pretty funny to actually be able to see what's going on inside there, up on this big screen.
So why don't we just take a little peek at what you can do with it, both the sound-wise and visual-wise?
Yeah, definitely. Let's start with the sound then. So at its heart, it's a 16-step sequencer. So compared to the OP1, this is going to be much more focusing on sequencing. So there are 16 dedicated tracks. The bottom 8 of them are instrumental, then there are 4 effects tracks, and then there are 4 additional tracks for controlling external systems. So for the actually, let me choose a clean pattern.
When you're operating it now, you don't even look at the screen, because you have these little dots that light up and you know where you are.
Yeah, we saw it as a nice challenge, and we worked really hard to make it user-friendly, just using the LEDs. And we think we got there. Like in development right now, we're not, as you say, we're not looking at the screen anymore. You could use that while learning. You could use that to better understand what's going on as thought. But I promise you that in a month you'll be using just the keyboard, unless you want to get this bring it to the screen just for the nice experience. It's pretty nice to just be in the sofa, either connecting to your iPad or your iPhone, or getting it up on the big screen at home in your living room.
So what does it sound like?
Alright, so the synth engine in here is based on the OP1, so you're going to recognize a lot of it, but we're also refining it a bit. We've added stereo to it, so we can actually do panning effects that we can sequence as well. We added some new effects to it that are pretty nice. As I said, this is early days for this product, so we're going to add much more to it as we go. So let me add a little bit of a simple pattern here. If I add a kick to start with, like that. So I kick on the fours, add a bit of a snare, add a bit of a hi-hat. Each of these tracks have a number of parameters that control the sound. So I could, for instance, add a delay to it. Actually, I can hear it quite well, but I'm hoping you're picking it up.
Yeah, I'm recording it. I can hear it.
Oh, that's good. I can add. Oh yeah. I should say that these parameters can be recorded. So if I hold record, for instance, and I turn this knob, you can see on the LED right here how that value changes.
Are these encoders hard-coded, what they're doing?
At the moment, yeah. I mean, each of the tracks use the parameters differently. So, well, you can see for this one, you get the pitch, the tone, attack and tail. And when I press shift, I get 4 more parameters. So it's how much to send to the different effects, how I pan it, and the volume level.
How many channels are there? How do you think of it? Do you count channels or polyphony or?
Well, yeah, I can't give you an exact number, but there are 8 instrumental tracks, some of them polyphonic. So it's going to be more than 10 at least. We'll see how much we can cram in there, you know.
Yeah, it looks really beautiful. I noticed that there are a lot of ports on it. What are they for?
That stuff we're actually not disclosing at this point.
Okay. I can only speculate that maybe we could, control external things in some way. That's my personal speculation.
Yeah, I mean it's not a bad guess. I want to show you one thing more about the sequencing of this, or a couple of things more. If I move to the bass and I add something, a few triggers, what I can do is I can set the length of this individual track. So if I hold shift, I can set like this to be 4 steps long. So then this particular track, gonna run at its own speed, and then the other ones go the full 16 steps. But what I also can do is I can go to a particular step, choose that, and I can add components to it. And what component does is that it tells the sequencer how to behave on that particular step. So I have the first step selected right now, and I add a pulse to it. Then it's gonna pulse there for 4 steps before moving on. So now this track is actually 4 plus 3 steps long, so it's 7. And that's a pretty odd number compared to 16.
Yeah, so gradually moving it out of sync in a way.
Right, yeah, which is pretty funny. And that creates like permutations, and it's going to be quite a while before you're back to your starting point, right?
Yeah.
On top of that, I can add, for instance, like a ramp. So you can hear the pitch going up when I hit that one. I can add random. I can add random jump to the next step. So when it's done here, it's going to be random where it jumps next. So already now you have something that feels very organic. You don't really know if you created it or this or what. It's like, so that's pretty funny. You can also do the opposite and make it longer. So you can make the track longer. So I can make it 4 times as long by doing it like that. So now you can see that this track runs much longer, and
spectacular visual side of it. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so with this phone, you can not only sequence music, you can also sequence video. So what you've seen on the screen here, this device can connect wirelessly to your handheld device or to your TV. So you bring this up on the TV, you maybe start out with the interface, and then you can move on to one of our video synthesizers. So this is a piece of like a graphical world we created. We're gonna have a few different versions of it, but this one in particular has a number of different scenes that have some elements that respond to the music that you're playing, but you can also control it by switching cameras. Like this. I can sequence this. So essentially with this you can create your own music videos to go with your music.
I like the animation of that dude right now. If you turn up the tempo, will he dance faster?
Sure, I can show you that. Let's see best here. So it's still pretty slow, but it's effect, so if I turn it down.
It's quite amazing how much you crank into that. Have you been working on that graphical engine?
I have, yeah.
Was it like a big challenge to make it smooth on such a small form factor chip?
It has been in a way, yeah. We're using Unity game engine to do this.
And what kind of processor is it?
That I won't disclose at this point.
Okay, but I heard someone say it's based on the OP1 architecture.
Yeah, that's not far from the truth. I should say that the graphics isn't generated in here. The experience is the same, but the graphics is generated on the device that you connect to. So on your iPhone, that's the actual
I see.
graphics running there. I'll show you one more of these.
Yeah.
So this is a bit of a different thing, more of a VJ kind of thing, where you can change the appearance like this. This is where that you might be using more as you create your music. So it helps you inspire you while you do it. It's gonna react to the music the same way the other one did, or this one even more so. So for instance, this is gonna react when the kick is hit. I can sequence all of this, so the color changes. For instance, I can sequence, add this type of effects.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely beautiful. Are you making all the artwork in-house right now?
This one we've actually worked with an external guy called Kijiro Takahashi that does awesome video graphics. So we're really happy to have him help us out with this stuff.
Yeah, that's great. But for how long have you been developing this machine?
Not for that long. We started basically 4 months ago.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. And you already have like a very, very polished
Partner has been hard at work getting this running, and I mean, yeah, we're gonna really far. So imagine how much more we can do in the next year.
Wow, that's amazing. It's really quick progress. But how many have you been assigned to on the team?
We've been about 3 to 5 people. 5 now at the last phase of it.
And you've been like the lead programmer, leading the bunch.
Yeah, of the engineering, of the software engineering.
Okay,
so, yeah.
And it is, I guess, designed by Jesper.
The product, yeah. And he also did the world we saw previously with the bright colors. That's all Jesper as well. So
How do you work a teenage engineer when you start a new project like this? How do you start out? Is there someone with a vision? Or?
I don't think we have one set way of doing it. It feels very like I don't even know how it comes, and I love that. It's such a creative process to me. We just play around with it, and at one point Jesper is kind of gonna present an idea, and we kind of take that away and spin on it for a while, go back to him, and then in this one he's actually been very involved throughout the process, which is really fun. So I can't give you a clear answer on that.
No, but that's great. I mean, creative process is always. I mean, when you think of a software and hardware developing company, sometimes when you see the big names, you forget about the creative process. You only think about there's this and that feature, but when I'm thinking about teenage engineering, you're constantly showing that there is a lot of creativity involved there, and it shows so much in the final product. And now we got this seemingly, I mean, it looks very final, but you only been working for a couple of months on it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, when I started this company, I've been teenage engineering for about 3 years. I used to be in the game industry before, so that's one reason that we do this video thing. It's close to my roots.
But several guys at Teenage Engineer had a game developer background, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it shows when you see how polished the graphical engine on the OP1 is, and this, when you see this, I can definitely feel that, you know, it's not made on a coincidence.
No, right, and there's a playfulness to it. I think in almost everything we do, there's a playfulness there that partly comes from that.
Well, 4 months in development, and I guess you can't tell me anything about the release date.
No, I can't.
But I'm guessing 2017 would be an estimate. What do you say about that?
Fair guess.
Yeah. So, in the future, it'll be released, and I guess we can't have a confirmation of the price either.
No, I could urge you to go into our website, sign up for a newsletter, and get more information as we go along.
Yeah. I have a hunch it will be cheaper than the OP1, but more expensive than a PO. That's my hunch.
Yeah, I think I've said as much already in other interviews. So yeah.
Well, I think it's adorable, and I can't wait to get my hands on it once you get to a state where it's. I'll call you and ask to be a beta tester. We'll see.
I'm sure that can be arranged.
Yeah, I hope so. Hopefully, but yeah, the POZ. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think we wanted this to be kind of a teaser of what's going on. As we said this early, so we weren't sure if we're going to show it or not, but we got it so far, so we wanted to bring it here. I think I've said plenty about it at this point.
I think it looks brilliant. It looks spectacular, and we can only start speculating at this point of how you're going to grow a graphical library for this, and how you're going to maybe there's so many possibilities now.
Let the speculation begin.
Yeah. So there's not one graphic style that fits all artists. So I guess it's fair to assume that there will be some way of select what kind of style you want or something.
I mean, if you speculate loud enough, since it's early days, you might inspire us to add something.
Yeah. I'm going to shut off the camera and write a feature request. No, but I think when I look at this, I feel like if there were like several packages that you could download or for your device that you want to show visuals with. And of course, you tell me the graphics is not generated on the device itself, but externally. I mean, there has to be like a sort of a communication standard that make available somehow.
Yeah, I can see that's an idea that we're interested in for sure. I mean, we want you to be able to create your own expression the way you can do with your music. So it has to be rich enough for you to add your own expression in the video as well, right? So
I fully trust you guys. I can only kick in some ideas from the sideline, but you always surprise me in the end. I think looks very good.
thank you.
So, Teenage Engineering lead programmer Jonas Åberg, 2016 Namm show, awesome.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.